My name's Aziz Lamguindas, and I'm from Fulfilling Lives in Camden and Islington.
So I'm Donna Delia, and I'm from Fulfilling Lives in Brighton and South East area.
My name's Gary Phillips, and I'm a volunteer at Blackpool Fulfilling Lives.
My name's Glenn Davis, and I work for Fulfilling Lives South East region, and I'm based in Hastings.
Hi, my name's Jan Peters. I'm from Opportunity Nottingham and I'm a beneficiary ambassador.
My name's Jo Cutts and I'm from Stoke-on-Trent, Expert Citizens.
My name's Lee, I'm an Expert Citizen and we're based in Stoke-on-Trent, a part of the Fulfilling Lives.
My name's Leo Shaw and I'm with Fulfilling Lives Islington and Camden.
So I'm Lisa, I'm from Liverpool and I come down here for Waves of Hope.
I'm Natalie Blundell and I'm from a project called Waves of Hope.
I'm Nicola Plum and I'm from Blackpool Fulfilling Lives.
My name's Peter and I'm from the IF group in Bristol.
Hello, my name is Rob and I'm from Opportunity Nottingham.
I'm Vivian, I'm from Blackpool Fulfilling Lives.
My name's Angela and I'm a volunteer on the Brighton Action Group.
Yeah, so I'm Sean Allison and I'm working on the Wi-Fi project of West Yorkshire.
I'm Alana Craig and I am a Wi-Fi network member and I work with Sean.
I was approached by a project consultant right at the beginning in 2014. I was at a Sustain meeting and they knew I had lived experience of multiple and complex needs, so they approached me and asked me if I'd like to sit on, which was then called a panel. So I interviewed for that and I've been volunteering now for 2.5 years.
So I've experienced what most people are sort of struggling with right now. That's why I've become a peer mentor.
I think being able to support people at First Base, we do a day centre for homeless people, and it's just being able to support other women and other people with multiple complex needs, but my passion's really women and people that have lost a lot or people that feel like there's no way out.
I started off by going to get some help with my substance misuse. And when I did that, I then started to look at my mental health state and really address what was going on with me. And when those two started to improve, I began volunteering in London at a substance misuse service. Then when I moved to the south, I started with a Brighton substance misuse service called Brilliant, where I became a peer mentor. I did that for 18 months and then an opportunity came up with Fulfilling Lives to become a project consultant, and that's what I've done.
Well, I started off with floating support, then I went on to be an expert citizen, then I went on to do my peer research, peer mentoring, and also worked as a patient leader for the CCG. And within that time I've learned a lot about people with multiple complex needs.
I did a video interview with Darren Uranus back in 2014 while I was still in my life chaos, if you will. I went along to the Expert Citizens office and they were so welcoming there, and they assured me that what I said to them wasn't going to shock them. So I started to engage with them and I started doing 1 day a week. As things went along, I started doing more and I thought, right, yeah, this is getting good now.
I'm an alcoholic in recovery. But this lived experience is being tapped into, and I'm so enjoying this volunteering at the moment. It's just fantastic. Hopefully it will lead on to full-time employment. That's the idea.
I've been through drug addiction. I've come out the other side. I've been one of the survivors. This illness kills people. I stopped counting when we got to 20 friends who died in the area that I lived in. I'm a member of a group that's got £10 million for Bristol. I find I have to pinch myself saying that to you. You know, the hairs on the back of my neck are going up. I'm thinking, am I lying here? No, I'm a member of a group that started 5 or 6 years ago, and it's got £10 million invested to help people in Bristol who I will never meet, who will never need to know my name, but there'll be 300 people who'll get more help than before.
It's important to me because I am still a service user and I've used a lot of different services in Brighton, and I care about the services I've used, and I know if it's a good service how much of an impact it can have, and how disappointing it is if it's a bad service.
Like the way I beat myself up for my addiction and then the loss of my children has always sort of been a hard process for me to sort of work through, and then I try to help others wherever I can in this area.
I think that people should be able to have a voice and have an input into the system and be able to make choices for themselves instead of them being made for them.
It's important to us to get people's voices heard, people with lived experience, and for our customers that are going through what we've been through.
The importance of being able to relate to people and people sharing experience with me has just, I can't tell you how valuable it's been to me. It's just now I'm on the other side of the page, or the other side of the fence, trying to help people out with similar problems. What I'm finding is that the people I'm trying to help can see that there's something genuine in me and they can relate to the problems that I've experienced, so it's just been fantastic.
I think it's important to me because for doing such a long time in prison and having all the professionals help, and psychiatrists, doctors and everyone like that, none of them did for me was sitting in a room with people that I identified with life experience, knowing that I wasn't the only person that felt and feelings, and it was okay to talk about them.
Because you get feedback off other people, you know, a lot of people have gone through the same situation, which you feel more of like a family type thing. You don't get misjudged, you don't get prejudged or nothing about, you know, oh, look at her, you know, stuff like that. Everyone's really friendly, and, you know, you can listen for, you know, views, putting your views across, your opinions across, and then other people, you know, getting involved and listening to what their views are.
I've learnt a lot with Blackpool Fulfilling Lives. Through my own lived experience, it's put me in the position of knowing the barriers and how hard it is for people with multiple and complex needs to access and stay in services. It's also taught me that I've got a voice, and how powerful my voice is and how it can benefit others that are still struggling.
I'm from a background of having used substances, and to learn that actually we can give back to society, we can be positive members of that society, even when we've struggled in the past. We're good people who've sometimes done bad choices, not bad people.
It's important to me because for expert citizens to have their say means that the people who have lived their lives influence the way that services meet their needs. They know better than anyone.
Well, it's important to me because my life was on a terrible downward spiral, and I was put in touch with Fulfilling Lives. They've persevered with me and my issues, and they've helped me. Well, we've been talking about future projects, things we can do to make things better for service users.
You're going to explain what an SSR is, which is the way we come up with, hopefully, changes we can make to services. The issues usually come through word of mouth from people who are using the services or ex-service users, or they come from our specialist workers, and if they've got an issue with a certain service, they'll bring it to us, we discuss it and try and gather evidence, and then we write a shortlisting form, which then goes to our service improvement officer. He looks at it and thinks if it's a doable one, we then approach the service and say, look, this is what your service users are saying about your service, this is the criticism, or this is what's needed and not happening, and hopefully they will then work with us to improve that service for the service user.
One thing that I've learned personally by doing this piece of work with the network members is there seems to be a huge gap in the through the gate provision, and so that's locally in West Yorkshire, and so that's one thing that I've learned, and I just thought, what are other localities facing when in relation to through the gate provision? And when I asked around, what came back was there was also gaps in this provision in other localities. So that's one big thing that I actually learned.
I want to sort of make other people not other, people that are struggling, that are mentoring, teach them what I've learned.
We have volunteers such as myself and a few others. We don't have a peer mentoring project at the moment, which is something hopefully, actually as a result of this conference might come along.
Personally, I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm also proud of the fact that since I've been there, we've got new expert citizens. We're introducing more of the peer mentoring for them, more training, more peer research, and my passion lies with getting these people moved up into leading fulfilling lives. We're doing something called 1001 Life Stories. It's part of our project. In the years of the project, we've got to film 1001 people's life stories. I'm proud of everybody in the group. We've all gone through so much, and we do so much. As a group, we've done a project called for the Gatekeepers Report, so it's access for homeless for the GPs, which has made a huge change nationally.
I noticed that I was really passionate about homelessness, the current state of how local authorities run. So I was hugely passionate about that, and I now do the community practice group. We have this monthly meeting, and it's about all getting together and discussing things that need to change in that immediacy. 3 reports, big reports, have come out of doing them meetings, and one of them was the prison release report.
Hopefully going into prisons and just letting people know that we can change, we can be better, we can do better. We're not stuck in that, you've got that history, so you'll never amount to nothing. I think what I'm most proud of recently is going back into prisons and going back into the environment that I spent 12.5 years in, and still knowing the people that are in there, and going back in there and being me instead of having to put that that mask on, that person, the kind of mask that you do when you're put into prison. But in a recovery sense, I'm very passionate about recovery in Liverpool, action on addiction, and they seem passionate about reaching them people in prison so they don't become homeless and they don't get into that vicious circle again.
I've learned that you need to let it happen in an organic way and not force any issues with things. That if we as staff bring an agenda, then it tends not to work properly. But if we listen and respond, then you get the best from people. We're hoping that Opportunity Nottingham can have a legacy beyond the life of the project, so that services locally and nationally are more responsive to the needs of people with multiple needs. We've been able to develop some local strategies around the development of a pledge and around things like facts about me sheets, and we have an active group who are involved in making lots of decisions and offering their views, which is exactly what it should be about.
We are good people, that we make bad decisions, we make bad choices. Together we can amaze ourselves, we can do things that we wouldn't ever believe we could do on our own.
What I really want to get across is how important I think it is that we give service users a voice and foster their independence to make changes and not to rely on other people to do it.
Right now I'm socialising more. I'm making new friends, and the confidence is not fully there, but it's going the right way, you know, so I'm getting very confident. What am I most proud of? Well, I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, this year alone I've raised for a disabled school. I read so much that they couldn't accept all of it, and I had to find it as disability awareness. And then I had to find another disability to donate the rest to. And when I've gone there, they needed volunteers, and I arranged a group of volunteers to go and volunteer there. And everyone bonded. So would I have ever done something like this without the Flick team? So I think that's what it's done. It's changed me.
I found a project that, because I went down the route of self-employment because I didn't think I was worth being employed for a holistic side of things. But then my passion has always been around people with complex needs and being able to support people. So I felt like Fulfilling Lives has given me like a brilliant opportunity to go ahead and do that, not just in a paid role. So I've done it for a long time in voluntary sector. So just to be able to have some, build up my self-esteem, to know that I'm worth being employed and I'm worth studying and I'm worth all the things that I have in my life today.
Well, Fulfilling Lives is important for me because since I got into recovery, it's just helped me massively with my confidence, my future career prospects, where I'm going to go with the rest of my life. The whole thing for me has just been a huge confidence boost from the moment I got into it to where I am now, attending things like this. A year ago, I didn't leave my flat for months on end, and now I'm coming away to London and Brighton. The projects at Fulfilling Lives as a whole has just taught me that I'm capable of doing a lot more than I personally thought I would be able to do. Coming to conferences like today, getting involved in group discussions, actually putting ideas ahead to the rest of the group, them listening to my ideas, so these are things that I couldn't have done a year ago. So it's also helped sort of shape my future plans, because I've always worked in admin sort of based positions. That's all I've ever really done, and now from coming through the recovery myself, I still really thought my future would just be once I recovered, whatever you want to say, that I'd just go back into the same old job, being a volunteer, working with people, the clients and things like that. Has made me realise actually this is a line of work that not only would I like to do, I think I'd get a hell of a lot out of doing it. And it's changed my whole way of thinking of where I'm going with my life, in all honesty. It's not huge to some people, but for me to walk in a room with all 50, 60 people and actually walk in reasonably confident now, not be frightened, that's probably my personal biggest achievement.
For me, I'm going to say it's more the fact of, for the long-term prisoners, that when they come out, I'd like them to have somebody that they can come out to, and somebody that's going to have had that same experience as them, and not just be coming out and having to meet someone that's read a book that just looks at them as a wage and a target for their little boxes. It needs to be about the person themselves, and realise that the long-term prisoners have actually got families, and it's scary for them to come out of prison and to walk down a street and everything that they once knew is not there anymore. And I think that that's where I'd like the change to be. I'd like the change to be that they come home and they get to realise what's at home, not, wow, I'm that scared that I'd rather go spend the rest of my life in prison. So that's the thing for me.
I'd like to think that the work that we're doing with this Through the Gate provision, I'd like to think that we could maybe turn this into a social enterprise and take it forward. So in relation to what impact would that have on in West Yorkshire, I'd like to think that we could maybe be going more into the local prison and having a huge impact on reducing reoffending, certainly within Leeds at the very least.
I'm actually quite a nice person. I'm not useless. I'm not a waste of space. And I have got quite a lot to give. It's given me the confidence to come back to work. It's given me the confidence to talk to people, to sit in a room. It's given me the confidence not to isolate myself. And it's keeping me out of police cell, out of hospitals, and out of people's bad books.
The key things I've learned is the power of storytelling to get people's voices heard. The impact of listening to someone's story is a lot greater than just reading case stories. So it's a better impact if you can hear that person's voice or hear their story. High up, like commissioners and the high bods, as I call them, if they hear and see a story, the impact, you take that away and it doesn't go away. It's real life, and I think that's one of the biggest things when you do these stories, is that's the biggest impact you get. You don't forget hard-hitting stories when you see it and hear it for yourself from them people. Myself, I featured on Radio 5 Live, and being filmed or talking is just a big thing for me, so I was very proud of that. That's something personally I was proud of, and to be part of that project.
I was so ashamed about where I'd been and what I'd done, and I thought my life had been wasted, and that brought huge feelings of guilt and shame on myself. But to be able to use that now in a positive way, it sort of empowered me for good. I just find it really valuable, and I think it's something that should be in the long term and not just a short term thing, and I think a lot of people can get a lot of value from it. I feel hugely motivated by what I do now, and I'm hoping in the future that it will become a full-time part of my life. So yeah, I feel truly humbled to be an expert citizen, to be honest. And yeah, let's make things change.
The way this programme that I'm in has been put together has just been as if it was designed for me. I've always been quite scared of the classroom, but the way that this training was delivered has just been fantastic. It's just been a whole bring it on kind of thing. I can't wait for tomorrow, if you like. You know, it's fantastic, feeling good.
I have to take responsibility. I have to be the best person I can be on any given day, because if I'm not, that can send me, there's depression in there, there's everything, and I can go back there very quickly.
And through Waves it helped me, because I've become homeless. I was in a hostel, but I was still surrounded around with like the drugs and the alcohol, and I chose to stay in my other house at the time. I lost my room, so I became homeless, living on the streets. Got involved with Waves and they helped me. Now I'm in a flat of my own now. Lovely place it is. And yeah, I'm still working with Waves of Hope and hopefully becoming a peer mentor. It's made a difference, because if I didn't have Waves of Hope or New Beginnings support me, I think I still would have been homeless. I'm proud that I've gone so far, like to where I was when I was homeless and drinking and smoking drugs, to where I am now, do you know what I mean? So I've come a long, long way to where I am, and I'm happy to where I am, where I've got to, do you know what I mean?
Fulfilling Lives really, from the beginning, gave me a chance to get a full-time employment. I'd volunteered in services for about 4 or 5 years, and because I'm from a multiple and complex needs background myself, and had criminal record, I was finding it really difficult to gain full-time employment. People wouldn't give me a chance, and Fulfilling Lives gave me that chance. I was taken on as an apprentice navigator, and I'm now a volunteer coordinator and leading on service user involvement. So it's really helped me progress through my career path.
It's made a massive impact on me, knowing that I can actually produce and help with things like this. That there are no big important people out there. There's just human beings who do their best. Some have been to Eton and Harrow, some have been to the School of Hard Knocks. But they're actually all human beings. And whether I agree or disagree, they're all trying to do their best. Having gone over the fact that loads of my friends have died from this, in our group, only over five years, one person has died. Only one person. And that in itself is an achievement. These people are people's sons and daughters, people's mothers and fathers, brothers, sisters. They're not scum of the earth. They're making poor decisions, and with our help and them helping us in turn, we can change that.
I'm basically just very, very grateful for what Fulfilling Lives have done for me.